Danhausen makes it 4 or 5 on this side. Beautifully designed, and Pappy scores! That is deadly. Parramatta never saw it coming.
Welcome to Thursday Lines. I'm your host, Scoop, brought to you by Top Sport and Punting Form, where we talk all things AFL, NRL, and a quick whip around of anything interesting or exciting in Australian sport. Joining me from the mecca of sport in Australia is Mark Goodwill. How are you, mate?
Very well, Toprope. Scooty. Yeah, sorry, mate. I was just we're talking to Toprope. He was telling me how good Melbourne's sporting landscape is, Scooty. So we'll get to him in a sec. But yeah, Melbourne's up and about, Scoot. As you know, we're just talking about the basketball game last night, which we'll touch on shortly, the NBL Game 2. And Formula One's in town as well, Scoot, as well as the AFL being back. And as we'll touch on shortly, how good were Melbourne Storm again on Sunday, sellout crowd as well. So town's up and about, Scoot. We're missing you.
I think the Pap's been doing some of Scooty's work. He's obviously lost a couple of bets because he's gone for the peroxide, and I tell you what, he does it a little bit better than I did. He's got a lot more to play with, I must say. Nick Tedeschi, how are you, brother?
Oh, I thought you were throwing them out when you said home at the Mecca of Sport. The Mecca of Sport no one cares about. Melbourne, no doubt about that. A lot of AFL, Formula One and tennis. Please, hard pass on all of those. Rugby League Heartland here, though, and great to have a round in the books and get a full round coming up this week. So very, very exciting times.
Yeah, let's do a quick whip around of the NRL results, and a bit grubby for you because you're a big believer of the plus and the outsider in round one. But it was 7 and 8 favourites, 6 of 8 covered, so a dirty day for the bookies as well. And the totals went 5 and 8. Broncos were 50-14. I tell you what, there was a lot of hate in the YouTube comments. They want a public apology about the Madge and the Bronco hate. Nick Tedeschi, anything on that just quickly?
Well, I won't be getting one, not for me. Look, I've ridden early season home underdogs for a long time, and they've won, at a clip of 65% over the last 17 years. So I'm pretty happy to stick with them. They don't all win. There are 35% of losers. So happy to say, got that one wrong. But a few excuses. The Roosters were a lot worse than I anticipated. Losing Victor Radley didn't help. Broncos, absolute flat track bullies. Broncos are not winning a premiership. They're still a massive late price. So there's your apology, and stick that one where the sun don't shine. So not interested in a Broncos apology. And if you don't like home underdogs, you don't like early season unders, maybe don't tune in for the next 3 weeks. So because that's all you're going to be copying.
Oh, beautiful. At least we got some viewer feedback over the next week, so we'll be glued to the YouTube comments there. Knights were 10-8 over the Tigers in a low-scoring affair. Rabbitohs were 16-14 against the Finns. Bulldogs 28-20 for the Dragons, and then Manly Sea Eagles 42-12. It was a demolition job, and it was as easy for the Melbourne Storm 56-18. Some big news is Dylan Brown signing with the Knights, 10 years at 13 mil. Bargain, Toprope.
Maybe one of the most ridiculous contracts ever signed by a club. But Dylan Brown is not a genuine playmaker. Very good player, very good 5'8". But for him to be given the $13 million and with ratchets in it over 10 years, there's a way to get your club into all kinds of salary cap trouble for the next 10 years. So, so a few 10-year deals. Jason Taumalolo. Everyone forgets that his deal started in 2018. So his 10-year deal started in 2018 after they've made their grand final. Haven't made a grand final since, and now he plays off the bench. So, time can change a few things. So, well done, Dylan Brown, and massive kudos to his manager. I'll be bringing the All Brothers in for my next contract with Birdie next time the contract's up, because that's one hell of a deal. So, totally reset the market on 5'8", and then out halfbacks and fullbacks because of it. But look, a blow for Parramatta in the short term. Hurts more. They let a couple of promising young guns go thinking they had Brown in, but at the end of the day, it's really the Knights are going to be hurting more out of this than the Eels.
Yeah, it shook me to the core, I must say, the 10-year deal. With the news of the expansion club, Papua New Guinea, I thought the NRL mightn't exist after 10 years. So good luck to Dylan Brown, who will get paid a long way into the future. Nick Politis and Mark Burris investigated by the NRL. What's PVL up to there?
Oh, look, there was a little bit of a complaint made at Las Vegas. I'm not sure if you heard, but the NRL kicked off this season in Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago. And They ran a 9 storm over there, and the Roosters were on the wrong end of an 8-0 penalty count, lost the game. According to Polias and Mark Burris, they informed the ref that they weren't particularly happy with the refereeing. Apparently, they did it in a polite manner, and the referee has come back and fired off emails to all media joints and to the NRL, claiming he was bullied and may never referee again, and blah blah blah. You know what? Like, toughen up. You're a referee. Toughen up. If you weren't threatened, you could have taken the criticism. If I've got to sit here and cop the criticism from Broncos fans who want to tell a story after the game, they can cop a spray from someone who wasn't particularly happy with their referee.
Outstanding. AFL MG, it was a cyclonic. The AFL had a cyclonic, so they cancelled 2 matches and they got a full flush. And the favourites went 1 and 2, same at the line and then same at the totals. So my Hawkers, 96-76. The good thing of the round, got the chocolates, but hat tip to you with GWS. They were a force to be reckoned with some of their key stars out, and the total was one of the easiest watches. So great results for you over the weekend. But what are your takeaways? You finally a believer of the Hawks?
I wasn't a disbelief of the Hawks. I think their rate is still in the top 4. I just thought it was a good clash, Sydney at home, but they had their chances. Sydney as well. They were in the game mid-4th quarter there, Scoot, and unfortunately bad turnover in the defensive half gave Hawthorn a crucial goal and ended up putting the last couple on the board. So the game was in the balance, and Sydney were coming. Unfortunately, just Hawks steadied and too good. So, yeah, big win for the Hawks. Scoot, up and about. Very good to beat last year's grand final at home. So, they'll go into round 1. We'll actually talk about the Hawks coming up soon, playing Essendon. But, yeah, they were good. Sydney, probably better for the run. Missing a few key players. Cox's first coaching game, so we'll get that out of the way. So, I'm going to stick with Sydney going forward. And as you said, the Giants, we've just got to, take it just for a win. But, yeah, I was just a bit confusing there, Scoot, with why the money for Collingwood, and also that Giants didn't even start favourite at home. So, yeah, one for the outside punters to get away early. And, yeah, even without the weather coming, it was an easy, as you said, unders watch there, helping by Collingwood kicking 6 goals, 16, which ruined their chances of winning.
Some things never change, that's for sure. But once you take all that firepower out, it was surprised that the bookies didn't adjust that total. And as he said, it didn't matter with the weather. It was beautiful business. Umpires were a little bit scratchy, so we might give them a bit of a pass mark, or we'll hope that they improve into the next round. But there's been a lot said over the social channels about the AFL media. There's the incident with Kingsley and McRae. That's been sort of done to death. There's the usual AFL media taking pot shots at each other on their magazine style shows, which I think the fans have just had an absolute gutful of. And maybe the biggest story, or the best one that I've seen, was yesterday, and that's Nathan Buckley slamming the AFL drug policy, says it's a marketing ploy from Mel Bucks, and he said while it appears to help player welfare, it enables drug use. So I think both codes have got problems, and it's probably a societal-wide problem, but I think Nathan Buckley said the quiet part out aloud, and I think he's just hit the AFL in the breadbasket here, and I can't wait for their response, but he's just summed it up pretty succinctly in a 4-minute discussion with Jared Waitley on SEN. Out of all the AFL media that you want to see, make sure you get around our Twitter handle, because we've retweeted it. But what did you think about Bucks' comments? He must have ruled himself out of the Tassie gig, has he?
Yeah, late to the party, easy to do. He never stood up and said anything like that when he was coaching, Scoot, so easy to do when you're in the media. I think the media's had a shocker over the last 2 weeks, Scoot. They're making up stories. They're searching for stuff. You know what the AFL response will be? They'll just grab the shovel out of the shed and bury it. Like, as you said, both NRL and AFL do it. They let it go. They don't care. Like, it is what it is. I
bring the NRL into this. The NRL have done no such thing. They don't have a ridiculous 3 strikes policy and cover stuff up. If you get done for drugs, you get done for drugs.
They just let them go.
That's absolute rubbish.
They just let them play with it.
Aren't you allowed to
let them play with it. If you get done for cocaine, who cares? Like, honestly, like, Who cares? That's a society problem. That's a police problem. You know what? If you're playing after you've done pills, like Andrew John supposedly did, well, then good luck to you, because you know what? Very hard to get out of bed today after you've done pills. So getting up and playing a game of rugby league, that's a fair effort. Let's not bring the NRL into the same thing. They're not covering anything up when it comes to drugs.
No, I suppose. No, they handled the Ezra Mam car crash and cocaine scandal with aplomb, I thought.
They didn't cover it up. There was no covering it up. They gave him a shit penalty, and it should have been much harsher. But they weren't covering it up.
Well, they couldn't cover it up. It was videoed. What are you going to cover it up?
Well, these have covered it up. The Queensland police did their best to cover it up, didn't they?
Oh, moving along. We could be here for a while. NBL finals. $1.40 Illawarra now versus Melbourne United, best of 5 series. So it's now gone 1-1 after a cracker last night, and the next game's back in Illawarra. As MG referenced earlier, there's a fair bit going on, and all the glamour of the grid starting to pile out as well. So Melbourne's coming alive yet again, and Top Sport have got the odds for the F1 Grand Prix, and Lando Norris is a favourite here. $2.53 is an interesting price. So is $5.10. Charles... And then you've got Max Verstappen, $5.50. Oscar Piastri is at $6.50. Also got a horse named after him as a dual nominator, and probably hard to beat either today, Thursday, being the Kenzo, or up at the Gold Coast on Saturday. Lewis Hamilton, $8. And you got George Russell at $12. Top rope. Do you ever bet on this?
No.
I've never had a bet on it. I've never heard of any of those people. And is Nigel Mansell still going around? Is that the last time I was? And F1 race.
Scary, I'll jump in and give you. I reckon Norris is completely way too short. I think he's a lay, and I think there's who you like behind it. Piastri's been the one that's been a bit of support for Scooty, $7.50 into $6.50. Hometown boy would be good to see in a strong stable as well. He's the same car driver as Norris, same team, sorry, but yeah, he's way too short, Norris. I think there's some betting options in the next 4 on the grid there.
I think it's a bit of a leader's deck, and it's a bit of a snooze fest like the Monaco GP, so I'm going to give it a massive, massive swerve. But Players' Championship is also on at the moment. Scheffler is going for 3 straight. This is something you would have bet in Top Rope.
Yeah, I've bet a lot in this one, actually, Stretch. So I take all better fun. Put a bit in this one. Scheffler going for 3 straight. Will be the first ever to win 3 straight. Not sure he's playing superbly after that little incident at Christmas time, so where he did damage to his with his thumb. I think he's a fair lay at that price. Look, there's a strong history that you want to be on the AM PM split, the early Thursday, late Friday, the 140 in the last 16. Morikawa was my top selection kind of before the draw came out, and I still think Morikawa was going to go very, very close. He's playing some superb golf now, but Justin Thomas is probably my number 1 pick in the players. He's absolutely gearing up. He's hasn't won in a long time. He hasn't won since his 2022 PGA Championship. So it's another 3 years since he's hoisted a trophy. But he's been around the mark of late. A few roughies worth having a look at. Daniel Berger, Locke Kim's been playing some fantastic golf. And Alex Smalley for me out of the real bolters, turn it away Alex Smalley. We're playing in kind of top 10, top 20 markers.
Oh, well, Justin Thomas sleeps with the light on, and if there's a drop of rain, he is a complete cat. So enough of the catsuit bets, but I'll be on Ludwig van Beethoven, Ludwig Arberg at the $15 there. Not that anyone cares. What people care about is the AFL Premiership, especially me. I snapped up $8.50, the Dorks, but now they join Brisbane on the first light of betting, both $7 favourites here. The bookies are starting to get a bit of confidence about this market. G2S Giants into $7.50. They look the standouts. Collingwood are missing a 0. And then you got Geelong there as well at the $10 quote. Carlton are $11, and then you got Fremantle and Swans further down the page. Be shocked if anything wins beyond them. And the NRL Premiership, you could probably say that this has been the market for the last 4 years. Storm are $3.50, Penrith Panthers $4.40, the Broncos into $5.50. Nick Tedeschi keen to oppose, as he said, with a fair bit of venom. And then you've got Manly, the bit of a mover there, and they're now into $10. So that's going to take a little bit more shape once everyone's got a couple of games under their belts. We'll give the Brownlow and the Coleman a bit of a spell until we get more action underway there. But it was a good start for you, Mark, with 2 wins, 1 losses, 5.5 units bet. So you had a 2-unit profit, 38%, and that's the same as your season tally, obviously. And then closing out round 1 for you, Toprope, you had 3 wins, 6 losses, 34 units bet. A lot of chips on the table, no surprise there, and 14.28 units. So slightly different betting methods. You're a big chips man, Toprope, and then Mark's got a smaller staking, system you'll call it. Let's have a look at the first match, and this is the Back to the Future traditional opening. Oh, it's round 1 really, because the opening round was a bit of a wet fart. It's Richmond versus Carlton. It's the classic season opener. $1.05 Carlton, $9.50 the Tigers, 48.5 the line, and 178 is the total. 178 and off at Top Sport. MG, this is a snooze fest. It usually is, but 48.5. How are we going to play the line here for the Desperates?
Yeah, it's going to be. It's not a match for me, Scooty. To be fair, I just want to see how bad Richmond are. Really, I think it's going to be whether. I guess Richmond early with their young group, whether they can be competitive early while they still don't have sore bodies and stuff, and how switched on Carlton are really. Carlton have got some injuries. Obviously, they're not going to go in with Curnow up forward. Obviously lost Jager Smith early, but yeah, I just think this is more of an educational game just to see how Carlton are tracking. You're probably not going to get a great deal of guide what their winning score is over Richmond to see how big. But, yeah, they could go through the motions and not cover the line, Scoot, or they could, if they're on and Richmond are just as bad as what their team on paper looks, with the weather being good, maybe Carlton might be able to put a score on them and cover the line easy. So, yeah, I think it's a bit hard. But just the size of a line, if you were gonna play and want to play, I think Richmond at the plus, you have to go. I think it's an extraordinary line first up. But, yeah, Richmond's sides looks as bad as I've seen. And if you go back to 2024, they lost their last 10 games. So it's a bit hard to come in and do it. So, yeah, I think I'm probably just going to watch this and put a pencil through it for betting. I think there's far better options as the week goes on.
All right, keep the powder dry. Let's have a look at the Thursday night game, and it's Newcastle Knights versus Dolphins. 155 the Knights, 245 the Dolphins, 4.5 the line, 46.5 the total here, Toprope.
Yeah, surprised that the Knights are so short in this one. They got the money in round 1 against the Tigers, but they were very, very ordinary. They pretty waste with the ball. They looked decidedly disconnected. Yeah, I couldn't be laying the points for them. They have got a very good record when they're favoured. 29-10, it's spread below $2. But leaning towards the Dolphins here, they've covered 6 of 8 opening month games. They're typically fast starters. Put a complete line through last week. It was a completely disjointed preparation. The match was moved. 3 players were left at home. Plenty of players would have been, thinking about what was going on in the home front and saw almost got the points. So, total forgive run in recent columns. 20-15 against the spread as a dog, 16-12 against the spread at night. I think the 4.5 is a little big. And, punters are going to be sticky about this. And, if you don't want to bet it, don't bet it. But this is another unders game. Rounds 1 to 4, big unders, sticking fat with it, 7.7% interstate rounds 1 to 4. Last 4 years, 11-2 Newcastle have opened their season in the last 4 years to the under, 5-1 their last 6 when they're at home. So, like the under a lot this month.
How do they look post-Wayne, Dolphins?
Well, we have to tell it was their first game post-Wayne, and they had that disjointed preparation. So, I thought they would have bet team at South by a country mile. They just couldn't finish it off, and it seemed to lack that killer instinct in it. They played very conservatively, which was maybe a little surprising for considering the firepower they've got there. So, I'll probably have a better read on them after this weekend, but I think they're still pretty good. Like they were running hard, they looked fit. There was plenty to like about the Dolphins, I suppose.
Let's give them one more chance. Hawks versus Essendon is the first one on Friday night. $1.31 the Hawks, the Bombers, $3.35. The Lions 21.5 here, and the total's 168.5, which looks pretty small to my untrained eye at the MCG, given the weather's pretty sweet down there in Melbourne. MG.
Yeah, good pick up there, Scoot. We'll talk about the total in just a sec, but your Hawkers, I like them. I think they've moved just slightly, open 20.5 to 21. I think this will start closer to 25, Scoot. I think once the teams are assessed, I think there's a big gap here. I would say it's going to start at least 25 here. I like the Hawks. Saying that, Essendon have had a pretty good record head-to-head, won their last 4 straight against the Hawks, so that might bode for more motivation for Hawthorn to get the job done. They were impressive against Sydney, come off a nice tough game as well, so I think that'll get them cherry right for this game. Hard to know where Essendon's at. I mean, we keep seeing year after year how disappointing they are, so I don't think too much will change for Essendon. I think they're just below average, middle of the road best side, and I just think Hawthorn's got a massive class edge. They've won the last 8 straight in Melbourne. So if I was going to have a bet on the line, and I might later, I think Hawthorn have a side there, Scoop, but pretty keen on the total here. I think the over, as you said, I just think it looks a little low. MCG at night, perfect weather. I just think head-to-head between them, 7 of the last 8 have gone over, and a lot of them have been north of 180 points. So pretty keen to bet. They opened 166.5, so it started to climb a little. I'd be surprised if this doesn't start with a 170 in front of it by the time it closes. So as long as Essendon kick straight, which is always a bit of a concern with them, I think it'll be a high-scoring, pretty up-and-down affair. Both with strong midfields, even though Hawthorn's lost Werple, but plenty of scoring, Scoot. So Hawthorn for me, just at the line, but definitely keen on the over total.
Yeah, I'll be Burger with a lot here. I'll be heads up. I'll be at the minus. I'll be 40 plus, and I'll be on the over 168.5, and this will be an absolute mauling. The only way they can beat us is if they bash the absolute jibber-jeeves out of us, but even that's not going to happen either. Good luck, Brad Scott. Penrith versus the Sydney Roosters, and the win's already been taken out of the sails of the Roosters. They look in the gun, and Penrith look as good as ever, which is absolutely scary business for this Friday night clash. $1.06. Roosters are at $9, 9.5 the line, 50.5 the total. How will they hold the Panthers here, Mr. Tedeschi?
Yeah, this is just the second line since 2008 in the first 4 weeks to be 20 or larger, so not a great sign for the Chooks. Adelaide as well, not real helpful for the Roosters. They're lacking in troops here. But I don't really know you could lay them minus 20.5 here. So if you're having a side bet, I'd have to be on the plus, but I wouldn't enjoy it. And certainly wouldn't recommend it as any kind of official play. But just a steady teams off conceding 50 plus rounds 1 to 4 do cover at 72% the following week. So, I tend to bounce back. Round 2 is always a week of just avoiding the overreaction. So, and all the talk is how bad the Roosters are. I think they are bad, but whether they're 20.5 point week 2 bad, I'm not sure. So, leaning towards the plus there. But if I'm having a bet in this game, which of course I will be on the under. The totals have gone up, and I've seen them out this week. They have jumped from the 42 to 46 range. We are now in the 48, 49, 50 plus range. So this is 100% a week to be on the unders. Under is 60% round 1 to 4 when a team is off a win. The under is 19 and 40 when the Panthers are scoring 28 plus. It's hitting the last 3 Panthers Roosters games. Yeah, I'm going to be backing. I'll back the under, but I'll be backing the Roosters under as well, under 12.5 points, because I can't see them scoring 3 tries on the Panthers.
All right, and then a little bit of Ric Flair in your subset. You've got the Paul Alamotti anytime try scorer over anything over $2. You think's value there. He scored 9 times their last 17. So there's going to be points. Old Paul's going to get on the end of a few, and that'll be an easy sit and steer watch. One for you, MG. I know you love a sicko multi out wide. Let's have a look at the next game, which is Collingwood versus Port Adelaide. This is Saturday night, 7:35. And this one's also at the MCG. $1.58 Collingwood, 236 the power, 8.5 the line, 164.5. Anyone that watched the Pies last week, how can they steel themselves to take the $1.58 here?
Well, like Toprope just said in the last match, let's not overreact after one round. I think the media's just blown up on Collingwood a bit too much this week because they've been struggling for stories, to be fair. I think, Collingwood have gone up there probably rated between 5th and 8th going into the start of the year. So I think that's still on track. I mean, Scooty, they went up and played the Giants as slight favourites who should be favourites for the flag and got a lesson. So I don't think there's any shame in getting beaten up by the Giants. They certainly won't be the last team this year getting smashed by the Giants. So, whether they were underprepared or not. I think the weather might have had some impact. And, Collingwood kicked atrociously, 6-16, missed some absolute shockers when the game was on the line. So it kind of blows out the margin late when, as you'll see as the year goes on, the Giants are just fitter, faster for longer. And Collingwood couldn't keep up with them because it's not their game style. We'll see if they bounce back. I'm not suggesting sawing in. I think at the line right now, Scoot, I kind of agree with the market fluck. That's a fluctuation. Collingwood's gone from 9 to 8, so there is a bit of support for Port. But saying that, Port Adelaide are going to be on the road, coming to the MCG, don't have a great record at the MCG, and they've also got key injuries on all lines as well, Port. So it's probably going to be a tough match to get involved in terms of the betting. But if I was going to shade one, it'd be the Port side, just because I think Collingwood do have concerns, and I'm not sure their offense is clicking as yet. And the midfield might be a bit of concern. And Dacos is going to have a tough match coming up against William Drew, who will tag him just as hard as what Bedford did last week. So for Brownlow favourites and people who just think Dacos is going to come back and have 40 this week, I'm not sure this is the week to be delving into that. But from the betting point of view, the totals are the key here for me. I just think the last 5 matches head-to-head have all gone over this margin of the 166. So at the MCG, again, the weather's still going to be fine. Forecast ordinary for the next day on Sunday. But, I'm pretty keen on the over here, Scoot. 162 up to 164. I think this will start closer to 170 again. I just think it's a bit low. Even though it's a Saturday night, I just think there'll be enough points in this, like the over.
All right, ride the total over points all weekend down in Melbourne town, which is going through that remarkable heat wave. Beautiful stuff. Saturday afternoon at 5:30, we've got North Queensland Cowboys. They didn't get a lot of rain up there, so maybe it'll be a good deck there too. But the Sharks are $1.36 favourite away here, $3.15 the Cowboys, 8.5 the line, and 50.5 the total. So this has gone a fair way. This is 45.5 to 50.5 top rope.
I'd like to give a warning if you don't like. If you don't want to hear any more about big early season home underdogs, probably tune out now for the next minute. So. Because we're back on the Cowboys, we're riding them hard. They were disgraceful last week because that's their start. I guess mainly they were appalling. I think the halftime possession was 68-32 in favour of Manly. I don't think they've seen a possession rate over a half look like that. They couldn't hold the ball and they were weak as hell in defence. They dropped Jeremiah Nena, the Australian representative, and deservedly so. He was embarrassing last week. So, like what Peyton's done there. Early season home underdogs, 4 or more, round 1 to 4, cover 65%. The Cowboys have been very good off a bad loss. They've covered 12 of 18 off a double-digit loss, 5-0 against the spread off a 30-plus loss. So over the last 4 years. So like with that, they've covered 9 of 13, getting 7.5 or more. Sharks back from Vegas, home up to Townsville. Yeah, not all that easy. Sharks will definitely have the wood on the Cowboys historically, but I'll be taking the plus. I think they can win this one. So backing the plus, we'll be backing the under. We've kind of gone through early season unders as well, but the plus is a really good bet for me.
Geez, you're staunch, and you're just so forgiving, Top Rope.
Forgiving? I'm not forgiving. I'm just stubborn as hell.
Sunday at the MCG, we're covering all the MCG matches. GWS are $1.75 and the D's are $2.05. Line 3.5, 163.5 the total. I'm instantly drawn to GWS heads up, and I'm sort of starting to get a bit of blood flow, and I'm horned up here for the Giants. Talk me off a monster push for GWS here at MG.
I can't, Scoot. Know where my allegiances lie. For the second week in a row, I can't understand why the market's come up against the Giants. As I said last week against Collingwood, at home started outsiders. After starting favourite, the money was full for Collingwood, came back late. But this week, the opening line, Giants 6, it's gone down to 3. I think there's some 2 in places as well. So I'm very keen on the Giants. I think this is by no means a mismatch, but if you look on last year's form, and I know Melbourne's, say they're fit and firing and, settled down off field and stuff like that. They finished 14th last year, Scoot. Had a disastrous campaign. I know they lost their best player, Petrarca, for the back end, but the damage was done before then. If you line up these teams and you know anything about AFL, which again, you always put your reputation on the line a bit each week when you tip something, Scoop. But the Giants back 6 against the Melbourne's forwards, it's a complete mismatch. I just don't know how Melbourne are going to score. The only thing that's probably the angle that's going to keep this match tight from a betting point of view is there's rare forecasts in Melbourne is for rain on Sunday. It's getting worse after a scorcher on Saturday. So the Bomb had a mare last week, as you know, Scoot. I think they were going worse than the umpires. So hopefully they get this right from a betting point of view if it arrives on Sunday. But if they get dry conditions, the Giants, they will put a number on Melbourne. I think way too cheap. They've covered their last 4 at the MCG, the Giants. They just hold no fear at this venue and the way their game style is. I just think they're going to be too quick, especially out wide, build off their defence. I know they're still missing a few key pillars, the Giants, but you saw last week, the longer the game goes, I just don't see how Melbourne's going to score probably 75 to 80 points, and if they don't, they won't be winning this game, Scoot. So, pretty keen on the Giants. I think it's a low number.
To be honest, MG, I just tuned out the last minute of what you said. I had to log into my TopSport account. I had to click on the Hawks, heads up. I had to click on the GWS Giants, heads up. And then I had to click on the TopSport top up. And I just see that it's $2.40. I tell you what, if that double gets beat, my bank account's going to look worse than the Gold Coast shoreline. It'll be absolutely desolate. I think that is the great $2.40 double for the absolute sickos who just want to back the top 4 contenders to bash up terrible sides with terrible culture, it being Essendon and Melbourne. As you say, MG, they're a rabble. They're a complete rabble, Melbourne, and their best player, Petrarca, he wants to be a celebrity chef. He's lost all interest of playing, and then I can't say anything about Clary because we all know what's going on there, but I completely agree. GWS just looked the wrong price, and I'd expect that the bookies just load these in multi, or get these loaded in multis. D's could jump $2.50 here, and the line that would make the line what? 10, 13 and a half?
About 10, yeah.
Wowee, that'll be an absolute snowing. There's your free bit of pickle advice there. So let's go on to the last game at Sunday for the NRL at Belmore, and this is the beloved Canterbury Bulldogs, $1.42, Gold Coast Titans, my 8th team, $2.85, and the line's at 8.5 here, 45.5. Toprope, your mob, they've been a bit easy, 137 out to $1.42. And there's been money for the total, so it's been 43.5 to 45.5. How are you going to play?
Your 8th team, you've sat in the box. You sat in Tristan's box for enough time. Surely to jump higher than 8. Please. Very rough. Shout out to the great Tristan. Couldn't be on the Dogs here. Couldn't be on the Dogs playing 8.5 points. That's too big a line. Bulls have failed to cover their last 3, laying 8 points. They've won 5 against Red, laying 6 or more. Got some key injuries. Carraz is out. He's hugely important. They were good last week. They were very good, but a little too much German salmon for my liking as well, which didn't sit well with me. I think the Dogs win the game, but I couldn't lay the points. Gold Coast 16-10 is the spread, getting 8 or more points. Not a huge play in this one, but we'll be beating the under with a good degree of confidence. 67.7% interstate, round 1 to 4 last 4 years. The under is 10-3 in the Bulldogs start the season, 12-5 when they're off scoring 28 plus. I'm pretty keen on the under this one.
You might have to change your handle on Twitter to NRL Plus Punter. Could you want to check and see if that's available?
We've missed a very few mices, but early season you want to be on Dogs and you want to be on the under. Stick fat.
Where are the Storm playing an international exhibition match or something? Where are they this week? They're not on the run sheet.
No, they're just having a nice little bye this week. Sweetie, nice little bye. Just rest up, get the pap ready to roll for round 3.
All right. I just wanted to mention Storm because it'd be bereft of me not to add them to the show somehow, given they're a silent sponsor. They're a silent ATM machine for everyone that's followed the show for the last 5 and coming up our 6th season. So shout out to Melbourne Storm. Hope you're enjoying the bye, and I'm looking forward to see the Golden Locks flow with Pap and ours. And all right, that's a bit of a wrap from us. Nice little snapshot of a great weekend of action. It's going to be much. It's a smorgasbord of sport, really, with the Grand Prix on as a little bit of a kicker. If you can get your way through that, you got the players, golf, and all that action's available at topsport.com.au. If you want more of the boys' action, all of the NRL tips, you just go to the Little Birdie Pod store. It's the greatest game of all for Nick Tedeschi's package at $33. And the good thing is, MG's giving away a free week with his AFL tips, so you get the first week of the AFL tips. So check your inbox if you're already an email subscriber, or just jump into our Twitter DM. We can get them to you anytime, or you can just jump onto our website and sign up and be a subscriber there. So you'll definitely get them. And if you can't get the free sample, make sure you drop us a line at one of our support emails, and we'll get them for you. And I think the official sub will start at round 2. So nice little free kick from MG, given that the AFL are making a meal of these first opening round and first round games. So it'll be the next 23 rounds after that you have to pay for. But that's a wrap from us. Hopefully the boys have a fill up over the weekend, and hopefully it's good high standard quality of AFL and NRL, and it'll be great. Not much weather around, so it'll be dry and fast conditions. Good luck, and we'll see you next week.